Coming to you from the Deep South, this is the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. High-impact leadership is not reserved for leaders, and it has nothing to do with your position, title, or rank. However, it does have everything to do with your character. It's time to climb to the next level and beyond, personally and professionally. Now, let's start making it happen with your host, Mac Story.
Welcome back to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. Today we're on Chapter 29, or Part 29 of the Blue Collar Leadership Leading from the Front Lines series, which is based on my book by the same title. So I'm just sharing some insight into what those chapters are about. And again, this is Part 29, so there's 28 other episodes before this one. If this is the first one you're hearing, you may want to go back and listen to those and dive in. It's all about leading yourself well. So today, chapter 29 is, last time I talked about stretching yourself intentionally, getting outside of your comfort zone. Chapter 29, part 29 is about develop yourself intentionally. Kind of close to last chapter, definitely related, but it's purely about your development. And you can do that without being stretched, so to speak. You can do it without being outside your comfort zone. You may be listening to this podcast in your car, driving to work or driving home from work or taking some type of trip. But you're not uncomfortable if you're doing it that way. You're just listening. You're thinking. You're developing yourself. Now, what you learn may cause you later to have to stretch yourself and get outside of your comfort zone intentionally to actually apply what you're learning. So it's a little bit different focus. We talked about stretching yourself last time. This time is about developing yourself. And what I want you to know is accidental growth versus intentional growth is about as effective as accidental exercise compared to intentional exercise. And not even close. And I guarantee you this, your results are not even going to be close. Because accidental growth, that's what I did for the first 20 years of my career. Accidental growth. I did a good job on the job. And I would say I became a little bit intentional maybe during that 20 years when I started going to college. But it was really intentional growth of my competency relative to getting a degree so I could get a job. When I'm talking about accidental versus intentional, I'm really talking about my character. I didn't really become intentional about growing and developing my character until 2008. I was born in 1969, so I was almost 40 years old, 39 years old before I discovered the stuff I now write about and talk about on any level. And so I had to become very intentional. I didn't have to, I chose to. But during my career, which my 20-year corporate career from 1988 to 2008, all of my character growth during that period while I was working was accidental. I was not doing anything. I wasn't studying anything to become intentional. But what I learned in 2008 when I discovered this type of content is what I want to teach you right here at this moment. If you want to invest in yourself, why should anyone else? And what I'm talking about, if you want to invest in developing yourself, why should anyone else? You're obviously doing it by listening to this podcast. But I've heard people say, oh, wish my company would send me to some event that they want to go to, or they want to go hear a speaker speak someplace, or they want some type of training. I hear it a lot. I wish my company would send me to that. Why does your company got to send you to that? Send yourself to that. Then you won't be indebted to your company. You won't feel guilty if you decide to move on and somebody places a higher value on you than your company because you're investing in yourself. Next time you go to an interview, instead of saying, I wish my company would have sent me to this type of training, I always wanted to go, but they had never sent me. You could say, I went to this training on so-and-so date. I went to this training on so-and-so date. I paid for this myself. then you're communicating to the next person who's wanting to promote you within or hire you on the outside that you're somebody who's growing. High impact leaders in high impact organizations are looking for people who are growing. They're not looking for people who are waiting on someone else to grow them. What you need to know is there'll be many opportunities waiting for you after you have prepared for them, but not before. The opportunity that you want is out there today, but it won't be waiting for you specifically until you're prepared, because it's waiting for someone. The opportunity is waiting for someone prepared to take it, to embrace it, to leverage it. Somebody else is getting the opportunity that you very likely want. And for many people, I know it's a fact. It's because they won't invest in themselves. Well, I don't want to spend $100 for this, or I don't want to spend $300 for this and have to take off 2 days vacation. They should pay me to go and pay me while I'm there kind of mindset. Okay, keep waiting. Somebody who's invested in themselves, who's growing and developing themselves, they're going to leave you in the dust because they're not waiting on your employer or their employer. They're making it happen themselves. They're not hoping that it'll happen. They're making it happen. That's the difference. Hope is not a strategy. However, hope is needed to develop a strategy. Without hope, there will be no sacrifice. You've got to hope that your investment in yourself is going to lead you to where you want to be. And I'm telling you, if you're investing in yourself relative to character development, and then also relative to a competency that you're passionate about, that you want to do, you're going to end up doing bigger and better things in an area you actually want to be in. If you're doing something today, when you go to work, you ain't fired up about it, and you ain't excited about it, and when you ain't at home, you ain't studying and reading about it, you're doing the wrong job. It's okay to keep doing it while you're finding your way, but don't go home, turn on the TV, and do nothing about it. Don't go get off on Friday and blow the weekend doing nothing about it, because all that does is ensure that you're going to be right back in the same misery on Monday. Sacrifice is giving up something of lesser value now for something of greater value later. Give up some evenings doing nothing. Give up some trips to the beach and invest in your growth and development, whatever that means. Maybe don't buy that boat or that four-wheeler or cut back on golfing. All this stuff that's fun that you may be doing, but that stuff ensures you keep doing a job you don't like. Or you're in a position you don't like being in. Maybe you love the company, you don't like that position. Maybe you love the company and the position, but you want to get paid more and you want more responsibility. All kind of ways to talk about it. What I'm saying is develop yourself intentionally and don't wait for somebody else. I've told you this stuff before. If you listen to enough of my podcast episodes, no company has ever invested one penny or 1 minute teaching me leadership development. Not a single company. But I get paid to do this, paid well sometimes, up to $20,000 to speak. Some people pay me up to $750 an hour for personal one-on-one coaching and mentoring to help them go build their brand doing what I do. Nobody ever taught me this. I decided I wanted to learn it, and guess what? I started investing in myself. First, it was just reading and listening to podcasts and videos and investing in books. Then it was investing tens of thousands of dollars to go get in a seat and listen to somebody like me, like I am today. I wasn't this way then, but I was paying, sometimes I pay $5,000 to go sit in a seat with a bunch of other people who were paying $5,000 to listen to somebody talk about what I was interested in. That's when you know you gung-ho. That's when you know you're paying the price and you're going to go somewhere. And I didn't know what was going to happen back then. I didn't know I was going to be invited 10 years later. 2008 is when I discovered this. This year, October 18th, or actually last year in 2019. Oh, I'm all mixed up. October 18th, 2018. That's when I got the opportunity to speak at Yale University. I never expected to even go to Yale University, to even visit. Not much less to speak at their Yale University's School of Management. You don't know what's coming when you pour into yourself. I'm only 10 years into this developing myself intentionally journey. What's coming? I don't know, but it's a whole lot more because I'm still pouring into myself. You guys hear me on the podcast. Y'all hear me talk about writing books and speaking. Yeah, I do all that stuff. But I'm also in there reading at night. I'm reading more books. Right now I'm reading a book called Emotional Intelligence. That's one of the books I'm reading. I read a book. I've got real books that I'm reading on my end table, on my nightstand. Then I've got ebooks I'm reading that's in my phone. I listen to videos or I watch videos sometimes when I'm out walking for fitness and exercise, that sort of thing. I'm listening to other people's podcasts. I'm on the same journey as you. That's why I get so fired up about it. I know what you can do for yourself, but I also know what no one else can do for you. You got to make it happen. Whenever you place the cause of one of your actions outside of yourself, it's an excuse, not a reason. Make it happen. So I want to share with you a simple little thing I learned from a mentor of mine, John Maxwell. I used to spend a lot of time with John. I paid many tens of thousands of dollars to sit in front of him and listen to him speak and be part of some of his programs. From 2012 to 2015, 3 years, I was heavy investing. Rhea and I probably spent over $100,000 in ourselves going and growing, meaning traveling and getting training and development in all types of programs with a lot of different people. So there's something I learned from John. It's called the Rule of 5. And I use it intentionally every day. And you can too. So the Rule of 5 means you determine the most important thing you want to accomplish intentionally at the moment. And then you identify the 5 most important things you must do every day to reach that goal. So identify the most important thing that's not required. It's not your job. But the most important thing you want to accomplish intentionally. And then next, identify the 5 most important things that you need to be doing every day to reach that goal, to make that happen. Then do them every day until the goal is met. And don't start getting all worried and bent out of shape. I don't mean do them all day. I didn't say pick the 5 most important things and do those things all day. Not all day, but do some amount of each every day, no matter how small of an amount. Just like for me, reading is one of my Rule of 5 activities. I read every day. What that means, to give you perspective, every day, every single day of the year, 365, and every 4th year, 366. Every day. But my goal for each day is only 1 paragraph. I can do it in 30 seconds. Sometimes I read for hours and hours and hours. Sometimes I read a whole chapter. Sometimes I read a whole page. Sometimes I read a whole book. But all I have to do, and all my goal is to read 1 paragraph. If I do that every day, I've met my goal. And again, a lot of days I do far, far more than that. Most every day I do more than that to some degree. But there is an occasion when I'm been super busy that to meet my goal, I just open the book and I read a paragraph. And I close the book and I met my goal. You should do these 5 things daily until you reach your goal. Do them at the work if necessary. And remember, you're not doing it for the company. You're doing it for yourself. Then develop a new goal and repeat. Or if one of those 5 things, you've done it so many times and for so long, it was something that actually had a finish line and you completed it. Now you only have 4 things you need to keep doing. Figure out another thing that you need to do every day to help you reach it, and go back up to 5 things and figure out what I need to do every day. So your 5 could change along the way, but keep doing the 5 most important things. It's not about making a list. It's about taking intentional action. So my current Rule of 5, and it's been my Rule of 5 for a long time. It's got me from really just stumbling around in this, which started in 2008, to where I am today because I became very intentional. So here's my current Rule of 5 list. And this was my Rule of 5 to become a sought-after leadership expert, trainer, speaker, whatever you want to call it. I wanted to be like the big dogs. I didn't want to be like them literally. I wanted to be me at their level, doing things my way. And for me, that's going to be in the blue-collar world, the blue-collar organizations, blue-collar workforce, helping develop those people who support them, and those people who lead them. I want to be the guy making it happen in that arena. So what is my Rule of 5? I touched on one already. I read leadership content every day. I collect and file leadership quotes every day. I get them from my reading or my listening or my video watching. And when I say read leadership content, for me, that means literally read it from a book, or it could be listening to a podcast on leadership or watching a video. Reading is the word I use, but it could be any three of those things. And then the second thing, again, I collect and file quotes. I've got thousands and thousands and thousands of quotes. I capture them every day. I've been doing it for years. And number 3 is I write about leadership. If you follow me on LinkedIn or Facebook, you see me putting out memes and quotes and thoughts and little short things. You see me writing articles. You see I've published 12 books. So I write about leadership every day. Number 4, connect with people who value leadership. If you're listening to that podcast, I'm doing that with you right now. I've also shared some quotes from my quote file with you. But I connect with people who value leadership. I may do it through an email. I may do it on the phone. I may do it through messaging on social media. And then the 5th thing I do is I teach others leadership every day. And again, I can do that through my writing. I can do it through this podcast. I can do it in person. All kind of ways I can do it. But those are the 5 things. And I've been doing these 5 things daily for many years. So I'm going to leave you this quote by Jerry Rice. Today I'll do what others won't, so tomorrow I can do what others can't. Pretty powerful. Today I'll do what others won't, so tomorrow I can do what others can't. Hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you next time.
Make it happen or someone else will. It might as well be you. Are you serious about taking your career and your life to the next level and beyond? Check out Mac Story's Blue Collar Leadership Series books and others, now available on audio, along with paperback and ebooks at Amazon, iTunes, and Audible. Please visit bluecollarleadership.com to learn about Mac's books, programs, special offers, certifications, and more. Thank you for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast.